It'll be here and gone before you know it. But I don't know which game I'm looking forward to more. I think I'm looking more forward to Indiana, Miami, and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking forward to that one more. I think that'll be a more fun game.
I can see that. Yeah, for sure.
But talking about the Bears, whenever they had
lose.
Well, it was 16-16, fourth down at about 4, and they punted it away. And I was going to text you guys like, do you go for it there because you got to stop them anyway? And if you force them and they go ahead and kick it sooner, you lose your timeouts anyway to stop the clock, but you get the ball back with more time than if you kick it deep. They pick up a few first downs to get that field goal.
You never see the ball
time. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. So I'd rather.
Yeah, it's interesting. The stats, I'm sure, and if you're a dinosaur, would say punt that every time, probably 99% of the time. But you're right though. Like getting the ball back is kind of important to try to win the game, unless you're going to play on your defense getting another pick, which is not likely. You can't lean on that. But anyway, they managed to lose, and then they still win because the Eagles decided to not play anybody today.
And that's another reason. The worst they could ever do was a 3 seed. So why not keep the football and try to go win the 2 seed?
It's not like you're losing or out.
It's whatever. Yeah, if you don't get it, if it's fourth and like 11 or 12, I get punt it. That makes it. But that close, the way the game level was having.
Why not? Right?
I didn't see the downside of just going and going for it. If you lose, then you just lose anyway. But at least you lose with trying to win the game instead of giving them, because your defense hadn't stopped them all game. They drove the ball up and down the field the whole game. They just didn't cash in.
Right.
The lines.
They'll get another home game at least, assuming they can win.
Yes.
But they didn't know that in the middle of the game when the Philly game Washington game was still in progress. So that game didn't end until afterwards. So I agree. That's an interesting call. We're starting to see more coaches in both levels, all levels, go for it on fourth down more than they did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and
one coach in particular.
Well, if a coach in particular, we should probably talk about that guy.
Uh-huh.
All right, we'll get into it. This is Hell If We Know podcast. I am Brian. This is Chris. We discuss college football. Hell if we know why. We just do, and we know what we're talking about. So, listen closely for betting lines and great insight and hard-hitting material.
That's
right.
Everything you said is true. Most of it.
Most of it, right? Exactly. You guys will figure out, which is not. But thanks for joining us. We're going to talk about the college football playoffs, second round of games, and eventually we'll do a preview of the next round. So let's get into it, right? Let's get into the first set of games, which was New Year's Eve, and a game, I should say, was New Year's Eve, and that would be this one here, the Miami-Ohio State game. Mm-hmm. And so one thing that we could talk about now mixed in or at the end is our betting, what we did, how we picked, and what we ended up with, whatever you decide you want to do. But Miami wins, God dang it, pop-ups, 24-14 in a game that was, it was close. I mean, Miami jumps out to a 7-0 lead, and they get a pick six, and then it's looking like, hey, we're Ohio State, and we look a little rusty because we had 25 days off. That's a whole other thing to talk about, too, the amount of rust these teams had. Unless you're Indiana, then you look like a juggernaut. But Miami managed to win this game, holds on to win this game, gets a touchdown late to kind of put it away out of Ohio State's grasp, even though J.J. Smith had a great game, had well over 100 yards, and but they kept them under control, right? Like they gave some underneath stuff up, but they weren't letting him, and they pretty much held Carnell Tate to very little impact. And what did Miami finally do? We're going to run the ball. This time we mean it, okay? This guy here on the screen, Mark Fletcher, had a hell of a game again. He had an early fumble, which could have been problematic. It ends up with just under 100 yards and 19 touches or carries, and he had a 2 touches. So he had 21 touches for, let's see, 100 and some yards, 125 yards. And that's kind of what we talked about in the show. If you rewind back to whatever last week, we said he needs at least 25 touches. And, didn't quite get there, but, pretty damn close. And it was enough carries to, to just grind him down. Like, 90 yards. I mean, it wasn't like he was, wasn't an average, like, 5 yards a carry, but like there were some big runs in there where they just
90.
dominated. Very much so, yeah. Whereas Ohio State, it finally caught up to them, I guess you could say against Indiana too, that they couldn't run the ball. They couldn't establish the run, and that showed up again here. They only have 45 yards rushing. Sorry, that's just sacks, but you see Bo Jackson, 4 yards a carry, 5 yards a carry, like 11. They just couldn't get going offensively. And Miami's defensive ends, the one last thing I'll say about this, and I'll let you put it, as I said, if Miami defensive ends, they're the key to whether Miami wins this game or not. They have to be elite to win this game. They have to be elite to make Julian Sayin uncomfortable off schedule, and they did just that from the get-go. And they put pressure on late to him, make him throw some bad passes, and ended up being a difference. In my opinion, how Ohio State was able to not be able to move the ball.
Yeah, the 19 carries by Fletcher Jr., it felt like a lot more than that, right? It felt like they really tried to just get him established and get him going. And at the end of the game, you see 19 carries. Like, dang, it felt like he carried it because like you said, we professed it over and over. He needs 25 plus. If I'm the one calling plays, no less than 25 touches, right, kid? He got 21 touches total, but 25 carries would have been the number I was shooting for. And if you could have given it to him 25 times, you feel good if you're Miami because that means you're running the ball decent. If you can only give him 10, 12, 14, that means you're making nothing, and you're having to throw the ball more. Beck only threw the ball 26 times. That's fine.
That's perfect.
Okay.
That's
perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. 19 to 26. Not a lot of yards, but you're not going to get a lot. You're not going to get a lot against Ohio State. They're not going to give you anything.
No.
So that's understandable. But yeah, not 19 carries. I said it would have been 25 if it was me, but 19 just felt like a lot more. And there'll be a theme tonight when we're talking about these games, and the theme's going to be the best defense won. The teams that had the best defense won the game. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to tell you the Miami defense is better than Ohio State's. I'm saying they were that game.
Yes, exactly.
That game, they were better than Ohio State's. Ohio State's defense is elite, but they give 153 rushing yards. That's way more than they give up. They give up 24 points. Well, they give up 17 points. The pick six don't count. So they give up 17 points. They give up 8 all year, average. So it just Miami had the better defense, and they had a way better defensive line. That defensive line.
Oh boy.
And I don't understand. I don't know what happened to Miami in the middle of the year, where they lose to SMU and they lose to Virginia.
Yeah.
But it's like they started off really good, and we were saying it all year. We said it. They look good enough to be the national champion. They look like the best team in the country. Then they dip down, and then they get going again. They sneak in the playoff by jumping Notre Dame because of that head-to-head win. Controversy, whatever, but they get in. They're at the last. And even the committee admitted that it was them or Notre Dame for the last spot, because that was what was left.
It had to be.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they sneak in, and they're peaking at the right time. And so that defensive line controlled that whole football game from the jump. Like immediately, it was, holy cow, they're way better on the defensive line than Ohio State is on the offensive line. They dominated from the very first snap that they got. And then I wondered why, second half, Ohio State come out, power run the ball right at them a little bit and made hay with Jackson and went up scoring those touchdowns. It makes you wonder if Ryan Day is probably tossing and turning in the bed the night after that, thinking, damn, we should have went to that run game right at them way earlier than we did.
Yep.
We should have went at them way earlier.
They were in 11, 12 personnel. They went to 13 personnel and moved the ball much better.
Huge difference.
That third quarter.
Made all the difference. And they just waited too long to go to it. And then Miami adjusted and wound up, getting stops. But that's the chess match that happens. So But yeah,
Right.
it was a cool game. Gambling picks on this game. This was my game to pick. Um,
Uh-huh.
I said we would be different, and we were. But I whipped the gut on that one. We go 2-1. I had Miami, so of course they covered the 9.5. But I had the over,
Okay.
and
Which
yeah,
was,
and
what
and
was
I
that,
was hoping.
40
Yeah, it was
something? I forget what it
40 and
was.
a half.
40 and a half.
40 and a
Yeah,
half.
yeah.
And I was hoping, man, maybe Ohio State can drive down here this last drive and kick a field goal to get it to one possession. That'll put us at 41. That gets the over. And they throw the damn
Yeah.
interception. Like, yeah, I'll take
Interception.
it. So, yeah. So 2-1 that game.
Yeah.
But hey, that made some good cash on that one.
Absolutely. All right. Yeah, I think the part of the thing is that Beck wasn't like crazy good, but he took care of the ball. He made some plays on third down with his legs as well. And Ohio State was only 3 of 10 on third down. I mean, that's troublesome, and they just could not get consistent drives back to back going. And Miami's defense with Bain and the other kid whose name escaped me, like they're just dominant on the run, like off the edge, sealing the edge, and just they were just great. And they were trying to like go 1-to-1 with Bain in a tackle. Like they're just gonna win that. Man, that's
Never.
just not gonna happen. Like you better chip with someone, whoever it is, a wide receiver. But he's a man that will play at the next level here in a few months. And Ohio State was just that was pretty optimistic to be able to think they can block him 1-to-1.
And it was pretty cool to see the defensive line complement each other as far as the inside tackles and the ends.
Yes.
Because if the tackles have to hold up their end of the bargain for those ends to get turned loose, you can't just run upfield and get blow off the ball in the middle, and then he's just running everywhere. Those tackles did a good job of holding the offensive line, the center, and the guards in place, and making their life miserable. So Bain and what's his name?
Messidor.
They can start getting after him on the outside, and linebackers could clean up anything in the middle that maybe got out of there. And that's just over and over again. When it was 3rd and long or 3rd and medium, and it felt like a pass because you got the best wide receivers in the country, that was like the dinner bell. They was ringing it, and off they would go.
Ding-a-ling, yes. All right. Well, Miami moves on. We'll talk about who they're going to play. It's a big surprise. Can't tell you. It's going back to the quarterfinal.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Dang it. All right. Which one do you want to hit next? Do you want to hit them order of the games, or do you want to hit order of the All right. Well, the first game of the day on New Year's Day was Oregon and Texas. This game should have been in Lubbock, but what do we know? Instead, the game is in the Orange Bowl, which is not the worst place to be if you're, Texas Tech or Oregon fan. If you're an Oregon fan, you probably like to be in. I'm sure you'd rather be in South Beach rather than Lubbock, Texas, this time of year. But nevertheless, especially for a number of reasons, the scenery and the lack of the home field advantage. But Oregon just dominates this game on the line of scrimmage again, which was there ever a time where we thought the under was going to hit more than this one?
No. Besides the sun coming up in the east, I don't know. I don't know if it's no surer bet than that right there.
Yeah. Oregon, they only ended up with 6-0 at halftime, but they had opportunities kind of galore there, and they just couldn't put it away. They won the stats overall, and Texas Tech could do nothing on the ground. They could do nothing through the air. Morton had 2 interceptions, a couple bad interceptions, fumbles, and they just looked like they didn't belong on offense. They looked like pretty pedestrian, and some people were concerned about that their offense was not going to be able to match what their defense can do, because their defense held up pretty well.
Lights out.
They give up 6 to Oregon. They were, you said, they're lights out. Defensive line was able to get pressure. They were able to stop the run pretty well. Oregon only had 64 yards rushing. Again, part of that's on sacks. But they did a great job, frankly, and they just could not move the ball offensively. And that's something that Lanning, he was going to be pissed after they gave so many 500 yards and 30 points to James Madison.
Right.
That was, didn't really matter because that game was over long before that. But that's a defense that struggles to stop the run early in the year, Oregon, that is. And they've looked a little like shaky here and there earlier in mid of the year. Now, offensive, they've put it together since that Iowa game where they come back and won that game. They've looked pretty good since then. Did what they needed to do here, and just really dominated Texas Tech from the get-go, frankly.
Yeah. They to what the Tech. I was more. I was so impressed because I hadn't watched Texas Tech from start to finish all year, just bits and pieces. I watched a little bit of the BYU Texas Tech game, the
Uh-huh.
second one in the championship Saturday. And we had it on at work and the TV behind us, so I really didn't watch them. I just caught bits and pieces. But still,
Sure.
they're elite. They have a national championship
Absolutely.
defense and an offense that just is high school level. Well, they're not really. I mean, the Oregon
Yes.
defense did good, but they're just not.
Right.
They didn't seem all that explosive. They didn't seem all
No.
that explosive, even though they're one of the highest scoring offenses in the country. But that's all relative because you're playing in a conference that they just don't value defense like the SEC and the Big Ten
Right.
does, and all. They just don't. I mean, that's just reality. Um, but I mean, I was impressed with their defense. Man, they fly around. Whenever they decide they're going to pass rush you, Moore had no shot. I mean,
No.
they got
No.
after
Absolutely.
him, and from the get go, and you and I were texting a little bit about this during the game. Is it felt like a game where points were going to be a premium. Like
Uh-huh.
anytime you're in scoring position, you need to come away with points. Field goal, don't matter. Just get some points here. And that brings me to what we talked about a little bit earlier as far as going on fourth down. Dan Lanning. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna preface what I'm getting ready to ask you because this is
Yeah.
a hot take here coming.
Okay.
An excellent recruiter, an excellent
Absolutely.
motivator, an excellent
Absolutely.
defensive coach. He can do all the things you want a head coach to do.
He's top
He's
5
been at Oregon.
psychopaths in all of sports.
Yes, he's been at Oregon like 4 or 5 years now.
Uh-huh.
Is it fair to start questioning his in-game management? Is it fair to start questioning that? Now, coaches, you watch even NFL, college, NFL, high school football. Go run down to your local high school on a Friday night. You'll see it too. Just coaches making just weird calls, like weird in-game management, going for it, not going for it, punting,
Uh-huh.
this, that, not play calling, just decisions CEOs need to
Decisions.
make.
Right.
That's his call. And
Right.
I kind of wrote down some stuff here. So first drive for Oregon, 10 plays, 43 yards, field goal. Okay, cool, it's fine. Tech goes 3 and
Still on
out,
board. Yep.
pumps the
Yep.
ball. Second drive, 13 plays, 47 yards. You get down to the Tech 25-yard line. It's 4th and 3. You have a 42-yard field goal in your back pocket.
And your
we talked
kicker's
about
excellent.
it. And your kicker, you take those points, and he just
Yes.
refused to do it. You were 4
Right.
of 19 on third down the whole game, so you were
Yeah.
already you're even early. You could just feel it, like it was.
Yes.
It's just not going to be one of those games where it's going to be high flying and you're. But he
No.
goes, but he goes for it. Of course, he gets stopped. Tech gets the ball back, 3 and out. They punch the ball right back. All right.
Right.
So that's the end of the first quarter. Second quarter, it goes. There's 4 drives to start the second quarter. Oregon punt, interception by Oregon. Oregon punt when they got that, and then a missed field goal by Texas Tech. Then you get the ball back. You go 14 plays, 62 yards down to the 2-yard line. Now this one I can get behind a little bit because you got a chance. It's still 3-0. It should be 6, but it's 3-0. You got a chance to put some distance because you're dominating the game on defense. If 6 is on the board, if you had kicked that field goal, now we can if and but and I wonder what Dan Lanning would say about it. But if it's 6-0, I think you take the points there too and make it 9 and 2 scores.
Sure.
Right? That's what it
Absolutely.
felt like. But he didn't get it. So he's like, shit, I didn't get that. I didn't get any points there. It's just 3-0.
Now you're chasing.
We've dominated this first half and we have 3 points to show for it.
Uh-huh.
We need 7 here. So I can get behind that call. But again, against most defenses, I can get behind it. But with this defense, I'm just like, but I get it. Okay, it's fine. All right.
Right.
So and of course, what happens? You don't get it. So Tech goes like 6, 7 plays. They wind up fumbling. You get the ball back. 4 plays, 9 yards. You kick the field goal. into the half. So it's 6-0 at half.
Right. Right.
It could have easily been 12-0 half.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
And you're in pretty good control.
You're
2
2-score lead to get this. Absolutely. You're real.
Right. So third quarter starts, Tech gets ball first, 3 and out. You're dominating on defense. Oregon punt returns 41 yards back to the Texas Tech 40 something yard line, whatever it is. 4 plays, 9 yards to the Tech 33. And they decide to go there too.
Yeah.
It's a 50-yard field goal from where they were. Again, it's just 6-0. Your field goal kicker was excellent. Make it 9 or punt. One of the two.
Yes.
Going for it
right.
shouldn't be on there. You either punt them deep because you're dominating on defense, or you kick the field goal to get the points and go up 9-0 in 2 scores. He doesn't do either. He goes for it yet again. Gets stopped. Then like a few plays later, that's when they get that strip sack. Then they rip it out behind him, and they run down to like 2-yard line. Then they score a touchdown. Then the game's over for all intents and purposes.
The game was over for sure. Yeah, exactly.
But that's just some, like, me and you are just some jabronis that sitting back in the recliner sipping bourbon watching this. Like, what? Right. How is it that we know this and we know it, even though we don't? He has more football knowledge in his little pinky than me and you have put together. How can we sit at home and watch that and be like, dude, what are you doing? And him not see it.
Right.
And not see what kind of game that was going to be. Tell me what I'm missing.
It's almost like if you're in it, maybe it's hard to separate out like logic. Sometimes I gather it's a hot moment. You're wanting to be dominant. You want to show who you are. But yeah, there are times where you go for it. It's kind of like read the room, man. You go for it or you punt. You know, the fourth and goal, that's when I'm like, yeah, go for it. Because if you don't get it and they didn't, you got them pinned within inside the 2-3 yard line. That's your money there. But other ones, you punt or you kick that field goal, because it was pretty clear early on your defensive line is going to be dominant. And also the Texas Tech defense is not going to let you run down the field like you're used to.
No.
Certainly not like you did the week before. So you take those points at a premium, and I'll rewind to the 23 season where Washington beat Oregon twice. There were a couple scenarios where Lanning went for it on 4th down where he should have kicked or should have punted, and it ended up backfiring, and they lost those games. So, is it fair to criticize him a little bit? I think that is fair. I mean, there's been some games where they got run out of the building, like the Rose Bowl last year, and they lost, some other games, like, they lose the Indiana game. Of course, it's a good Indiana team. So they're not without being criticized or questioned a little bit. And some of these 4th downs, like there's being aggressive and there's going for 8 times in a game.
Right.
And some of those are not warranted, right? I mean, also considering, like you said, you're 4 13 or 19 on 3rd down. That's terrible. I mean, you're lucky you came away with this because your defense is elite and Texas Tech offense is pretty pedestrian. That's not going to happen this next week because you know what's going to look like next week. You've seen them before, what that's going to look like. So we'll talk about that game. But
But I said I just wonder. I don't know if it's we are not qualified to go up against. It just seems like that. I mean, if we're at home watching it, like this is going to be a low scoring game. The over under is 51.5. Now I don't know where they got that number from.
They can play that game twice and they're going to go get there.
That's insane. That number was higher than the Miami OSU game, which is 10 points more, by the way. But it's from the jump, it just felt like this is going to be low scoring. They're not going to let you have a lot of points. You're not going to drive down the field and score touchdowns. It's not going to be a high scoring football game where you need to possess the football every chance you get. It felt like a game that anytime I'm in a spot to get points, I just need to grab them because they're going to be so precious. And it turns out that it wasn't the case because you've shut them out. But it just
but you don't know that in the moment. Right?
At the moment, you don't know it. Just you kick them field goals. You keep kicking them. You keep because eventually you're going to break through, and they did. But it took the second half, but they eventually did in the third quarter. But if that game's 12-0, it feels a hell of a lot different than 6-0.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you said in the text, one big play by Tech, and somebody breaks loose, busted coverage, you name it, and now they're up 7-6, and you've dominated the football game, and all of a sudden you look at the scoreboard, you're down.
Yes.
It just, I said, I didn't get it. A lot of questions on that. If I was lived in Oregon and was a Duck fan and was in Eugene, the local call-in
Maybe pull my
shows,
hair out.
I would, that's one thing that if they have a coach's show, hey man, listen, what's the big reasoning behind here? Because everyone could see this was low scoring, but you just kept testing that Texas Tech defense, and every time they answered the bell, every single time. So
every time, yeah, exactly right. You're lucky you kind of skated by because your defense was another level up too.
Right.
So that's the difference there. But
10 of 35 combined on third down, by the way.
Yeah, it was kind of ugly. Like,
it was ugly.
I wouldn't say it's boring, but like there was not a lot of fireworks. Let's say, shall we say that?
Yes.
Compared to the next game we'll discuss, which one team had some fireworks. One team looked like they didn't want to be there, and that would be.
Real quick, gambling picks.
Yeah,
gambling picks
yes.
on this game.
Yeah.
This was my game too. I drew this one for the preview show. This was easy, 3-0. That one was
okay. Yes.
The under was the most surest bet there's ever been made. If I was a millionaire, like if I was Portnoy or someone like that, that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, I would have bet a very large sum. Like I went to the casinos in Vegas. Says, how much can I bet? Like how much money can I give you to bet the under on this, where you'll pay me? You just name the number and I'm betting it, because it seemed really easy.
Yes, it did. What also was easy was Indiana just waltzing through the Alabama defense to the tune of 38-3. Yes, folks, it is 2026 now, 25 season, January 1st, 2026. Indiana, one of the historically worst teams in college football history, beat the dog shit out of one of the best teams in college football history in the Rose Bowl, mind you. It's 17-0 at halftime, and it might as well have been 70-0, because Alabama could do nothing at all. They end up running for 23 yards on 17 carries. Again, some of those are sacks in there, but Indiana did whatever they wanted that second half, and especially on the ground, to the tune of 215 yards, 4.5 yards a carry, and Alabama looked like they just either didn't want to be there or were so surprised in what they were getting up against. And I wonder if there's a little bit of that, like, it's just Indiana, like they've been good, whatever. This is the Big Ten, Indiana bullshit. And that comes back to bite you when you're not prepared to face a team that's very physical. They're very talented. They don't make mistakes. And they're as well coached as anyone's ever been in college football. I mean, and effort. This is a team full of not 5-star kids Alabama recruited. These are kids that were, molded to who they want in their program. They buy in. They got a quarterback who makes good decisions. Wins a Heisman Trophy, obviously put some points on the board. They have great running backs and wide receivers that just do everything you're supposed to do. They're always falling forward to get a couple extra yards. They don't make bad decisions. And you have an Alabama team that's, well, let's just start with it. It's been 18 times now. They lost to Florida State to start the season. And it kind of rears its ugly head again, like what happened that first game of the year. You see how when they can't put it together, they can't move the ball on the ground. Yep. This is what happens. You get beat by Florida State and you get trounced in Rose Bowl by Indiana.
They bookend this season, didn't they?
That's just history. Yes, they sure did.
Which is pretty crazy considering they start off so shitty. And then they worked their way up all the way to going to Athens and winning that game at the very hot. That's as best as they can play. And then they descend all the way back down into this game.
Right. They could have been more like this for their season, right?
Right. The game turned around when Simpson's he rushed for a first down and got it. It's like it was like 10 or 14-3 or 10-3.
10.
What was it?
I think it's 10-3. Yeah.
10-3.
Yeah, I think it was.
And he scrambles, gets a first down, and that DB for Indiana comes up and just knocks
10-0. Yeah,
knocks the shit out of him, and causes him to fumble, knocks him out of the game. He should have been out of the game, but he tried to go a little bit after that.
Yes,
but it seems like it deflated.
Rib.
Yeah, it deflated the whole Alabama team when that happened. And they get the ball, they go down. and I'm not sure if they scored off that turnover or not. They did, touchdown. There it
They
is.
did.
So
They did.
that's
touchdown.
ball game.
That was 11-play drive. Yeah.
Ball
Yep.
game. Yeah.
So, as I
And
said, all intents and purposes, that game was over at halftime because Alabama was not going to do anything that second half.
Alabama was 3 of 11 on third down. The average yardage of their third downs are 10 yards.
Yeah, that's hard to do if you're
Average.
Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback.
Now, Indiana
Right.
was 9 of 14, so 65%. I know they kept harping about how efficient they are during the Rose Bowl. Kurt, and they couldn't help themselves. They're so efficient, and they are.
Yes.
They really are. But they kept hammering that home. So you look at it, they were 9 of 14, 65% conversion rate. The average yards to go. Now, the last drive was negative 14 yards. So if you have those yards in there, the average third down of Indiana was 6 yards, which
that's
is not great
to get through. Yeah,
but it's
no,
not. But
it's,
if you take that last drive out, it's closer to 4. It was like 4 point whatever it was when I averaged it out. So that's way more doable.
Absolutely.
But yeah, 215 yards running. So question. Alabama stock. Are you buying it or are you selling it?
I'm selling it right now because this is year 2 where they can't run the ball. And it's not for lack of talent along the offensive line and running back. I mean, they have talented guys. I don't know if it's scheme or whatever. Like, that's something DeBoer's had a little trouble with the last couple of years and a little bit of trouble with in year 1 or 2 in Washington. It does gives me pause. And, they have some young talent. This Matt kid might be okay, but It's clear that the Alabama and the Georgias of the past, it's done. There is no more hoarding 5-star kids, 4-star kids. If you can get these kids on campus, you can pay them, you can develop them with elite coaching. You have Indiana, right? I mean, Indiana's a little bit of a kind of a outlier, perhaps, with what they've been able to do with their history. But if I'm a Bama fan, I'm like, I don't, we miss Saban, and he ain't coming through that door anymore either.
Right?
No, they're not.
They're just
they
not.
Do not dominate the line of
scrimmage.
Mm-mm.
They're just not.
They're
they try to smoke and marry and throw it. Yes, I agree with you. And I never thought. I mean, I'm sure this has been said about Alabama football before, but since I've been watching Tennessee football, which is early 90s, since I can remember, actually just watching and becoming a huge Tennessee fan, I don't think I've ever watched Alabama football and been like, man, those guys are soft AF. I just don't. I don't remember ever saying those words. And this team is just soft. And I don't know. And you're talking about him having trouble running the ball, DeBoer, that is, running the ball, kind of his whole offense. It makes me wonder if they're just not practicing physical to develop that, because that's what you got to do. You got to get out there and mix it up and get with it to be that, to become that running team. You can't go and pussyfoot around in practice and then go be a physical football team on Saturday. That's not how it works.
No, doesn't happen.
You have to
can't do that.
Be that in practice to be that in a game. And it just doesn't seem like they are. They were sometimes, like in Georgia, they mashed up Georgia's as physical as anybody in the country, and they held up. It just seemed like that may have been that was just a hype. Everything kind of come together, and stars aligned, and they wound up getting that win. But every other game, while they did win a lot of games, when they got beat, it was like, man, they're just not a physical football team. Yeah, for sure. So, and now, of course, Indiana's done that to a lot, even Ohio State to a little bit of an extent, but all year they've bullied everyone at the line of scrimmage. And so,
yes, they have.
Yeah, it's just what they do.
I'm. What are you? Are you buying or selling the Bama stock?
I'm
going into 2026 season and beyond. Yeah,
I'm selling too. Yeah, I'm with you. It seems to be a kind of a trend with DeBoer that they're gonna get good quarterback play, they're gonna have good skill guys, but at the point of attack on the line of scrimmage, they're not that concerned with it. Now maybe he'll change that in the off season, but if he's been that way kind of the whole time, you usually don't change
kind of his MO.
Everything, right? Usually you are what you are. This is how I win. This is what I do. And so I would sell it as well. I think next year is a big year for DeBoer. And I don't want to say
Absolutely.
hot seat, but I mean, you go 8-4
Well, if
and miss a
that's
playoff, or you know, and it
you
starts
are,
getting,
your seat is
yeah,
like roasting.
yep.
Absolutely, it is.
You don't
No,
ever want
yeah,
to be the
exactly. He's
man that
not getting
follows the
fired
man,
next year.
but
No, that's the worst. Like, you think DeBoer's probably wishing he was like, man, I should have taken that Michigan job. I'd feel more comfortable right now.
we just hung out in Washington, hung
In
out in
this hot
Seattle another
seat.
couple of years.
Yes, or hunt in Washington. Yeah, be a hero
Yeah.
in Washington. Live out there.
Yes.
Seattle's a nice place to live. Jed Fish is still living it up right there.
Yeah.
You know, he'll be there for a while probably. If you're a Bama fan, this 2008, 2009, etc. That's a long time ago. Hell, 5 years ago. That was a long time ago because
Right.
you are not going to see that ever again. You were just not. And I think Ty Simpson is a good quarterback, but they didn't have an elite quarterback play this year either, right? They could make up some of these ills.
Very
that kind of,
inconsistent.
like you can't run the ball, but you can make up. Yeah, just inconsistent. Like Simpson's a nice quarterback, but he's not Jalen Hurts. He's not Tua. He's not some of these guys that they've had over the years. And then they don't have an elite running back like they had with the Derrick Henry or some of those kids over the last few years, right? But it's not for lack of talent. They just it's just not. I don't know. It's a lot
Not coached
probably
in 'em.
to scheme wise and whatever. It's just not. I think right. And it's just a different feel and like it. They're just. I think it's almost a little bit like we walk in the building and people are going to lay down and we're going to win. That's just not the case anymore, right? I mean, you're going to out-talent a lot of teams. You're going to out-talent Mississippi State. You're going to out-talent, Vanderbilt. Typically, that's going to be coming less and less. You're not going to out-talent Georgia, for example. That's always going to be a problem. Like, they're beating Georgia, but you're not going to out-talent some of the skill guys that Indiana has or quarterback play that. Let's say, hell, Kentucky might have next year, right? I mean, if Sam Levitt's going to end up there at Kentucky, which is a weird transition, by the way.
What are you doing, man? I mean, that's where quarterbacks go to die. Well, now I say that,
seriously.
but you could be a mediocre quarterback at Kentucky and go what, first, second round, and so
sure, absolutely, yeah, make $7 million, what $3-4 million, whatever. Right.
I said,
that's a whole
I don't
other
get
story.
that move.
Yeah, I don't either. How'd we do on those picks? Indiana, Bama. We both picked
Bama.
Indiana to win, I believe.
Yep, that was yours. Went 2-1 in that game. Of course, we took Indiana.
I missed the spread, didn't I?
You did, because imagine us being worried about that 7. Looking back on it now,
the 7, right?
Yeah, we took the under. We took Indiana, and we took Bama to cover the 7. So we had 2-1.
Okay,
but I mean,
yes.
It's 7 points and it's Alabama. If you had not seen them go to Athens and win and see what that team can be when they play really well and they are on, that's the Alabama that had to show up in the Rose Bowl to even have a shot. And it was not even close to the Alabama you needed. As soon as that fumble happened, they quit. They get us on the plane. Let's head back.
It was Mike Price, Alabama.
Yes,
right, exactly.
So,
yeah, like it's in hindsight, it's obviously easier, but we saw Indiana go to Eugene and beat a good Oregon team by 2 scores. That should have been a thought. Like, they're going to go to the Rose Bowl. They've not been there since the late '60s.
Right.
The Alabama is not the Alabama of 5 years ago. I shouldn't. Of course, hindsight easier, but like. That should have been making a win by 2 scores against this Alabama team, who's a step below, I think, Oregon.
Right. Well, you watched them play against Oklahoma too. I mean, they got down 17 against Oklahoma.
Yes, right.
They answered. They had some breaks go their way, which we said they're not going to get the same breaks against Indiana, and they did not.
No,
we should have seen that coming too, because we even said it on the show. You're not going to get the same breaks you did in Oklahoma. So that was a mediocre Alabama team that went there and got some breaks and beat a pretty good Oklahoma team. But how different is that score if Oklahoma's in the Rose Bowl, really? I don't think it's that much different.
I don't think much.
I don't either.
No, maybe Oklahoma's defense holds up a little bit better, but I don't see John Mateer going nuts on that Indiana defense. Like maybe Indiana wins 28-13, something like that, 28-16, but and that may be because of short field or something. Like Indiana just does not beat themselves. They do not turn the ball over. They do not put themselves in bad position. And when they do, they have a defense that can kind of make up for it and force field goals and that kind of thing. So Alabama gets a sad 3 points. Indiana just routs. That score's not even indicative with that.
You talk about one of the wimpiest field goals there's ever been kicked in a high major.
That's a James Franklin kind of field goal.
It sure is. We're not going to get shot
Right.
today, boys. Kick the field goal.
No, right, exactly.
Down that.
Right. That was a sad field goal.
That would have almost.
Right,
if I was
Indiana moves
Bammer,
on. Yeah.
If I was a Bammer, that besides just the outcome of the game and your team playing like total garbage, that probably would have pissed me off the most about that whole game. Is you get down that close, and you're down. I think it was 24-0 at the time, and you decide let's take 3 here instead of trying to get in the end zone and actually at least give the illusion you're trying to get back in the football game. And you just
absolutely, because that just screams we're done. White flag.
Yes.
That's all. And like it wasn't already them before, they might as well have walked off the field after they kicked the field goal. Just literally go to the locker room, get changed, do your press conference, and hit to the airport. Because that's
go down to Malibu, hang out for a little bit or something, and then head on home.
Yeah, exactly. Go watch the next game. And yeah, it's a little rainy there, so maybe they didn't want to stick around very long. But yeah, that was clearly that game was over. All right, well, one last game of the weekend of the playoffs, and that would be...
This was a fun one.
I don't think we probably did very well here. This is the game of the games until the final second clicked off, which took 5 minutes to get over. Ole Miss revenges their loss in Athens earlier this year. They win 39-34. They struggled and at times and had to come down from 21-14 or 21-12 at halftime. They're able to make some plays here and there. They gave up a fumble, or was it a pick six? I forget which it was. Pick six, wasn't it? To really look like Georgia's going to just kind of turn the screws. But man, Ole Miss just kept fighting, and they'd get it first down here and there, and then they would Chambliss was like Superman. That one drive that put them up late, that's like going down in Hall of Fame. This is how you do it, playoff kind of performance, and that's propelled them. And look, I know you agree. We both thought this is where Ole Miss runs out of steam because they don't have Kiffin there to make these small little adjustments that might be able to beat Georgia.
Right.
And I'll be damned if Golding and Charlie Weiss Jr. didn't figure some shit out and put together 39 points on this Georgia defense.
and they did all their damage, and those, like you said, they scored 12 points. 12 points in the first half.
Yeah.
I went to bed during halftime. I was at work the next morning. It's 21-12. Georgia gets ball at a halftime, and they had figured out the power run game right at Ole Miss with Nate Frazier. They'd figured that out. Okay, well, Georgia's going to do what Georgia does. And this, I'm going to, I tossed and turned a little bit. I go to sleep. I took melatonin to actually get to sleep. Woke up at 1:30, and I look at my phone. I'm like, what the shit is this? How did that happen? And that was the last leg of our parlay. That was team number 4 of our parlay to win.
4.
And that's the only team. And I think they had one of the highest percentages and lost. But
Yes, right, exactly.
It's pretty remarkable. I mean, Chambliss. I recorded the second half. I go and I watch second half, and that kid he was dynamite. He goes 30 of 46, 362, 2 touchdowns. Now that is 100 yards more than the first game in Georgia. 100 more yards.
Sure.
He had. In Georgia, let's see, I had it on here. He goes 362. The first game he had 263. 263 during the first game.
Yes.
So he 100 yards more.
Yeah.
Ole Miss ran the ball. That's the biggest difference. They were
absolutely up to the
They ran for 24 yards in Georgia and Athens in the first game. They ran for 111 on New Year's night. So And now keep in mind too, Chambliss, that was like his second or third game starting when they go to Georgia. So it's not like he had.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Yeah. Right.
You could tell he was much better this game as far as just playing quarterback than he was then. He's just slinging around then. They go in and they score 35 in Georgia and Athens.
Yeah.
Because he's just out running around making plays. And then he still did that this game, especially second half.
Yeah.
But man, he just operated everything flawlessly. I was really impressed. Lacey was good. He's the one that fumbled, and Georgia picked up and ran in for a touchdown. So with his bad shoulder.
That's right. Yeah, as a fumble.
So hopefully he's okay. But I mean, Georgia played well. I mean, if you went into the game and you're a Georgia fan and you said, "Hey, we're scoring 34 tonight," if you're Georgia, the way that defense has been playing lately, you feel pretty good.
Absolutely.
And, I would like to have more because it's Chambliss and Ole Miss, but there's no Kiffin. So surely we can keep them in the 20s, right, and win this game. So they just when there's a big play to be made, Chambliss made it, and that's it.
Yeah,
Chambliss made the plays,
right?
So
yeah, that defensive line that Georgia has, which is elite, just was not able to get hands on him. Especially that one of the last few drives where he kind of just took over Superman style. I'll say one thing about Stockton is that there may not be a tougher nails kid.
Oh, man.
I mean, we talk about Pavia, Haynes King. Gunnar Stockton should have scrambled eggs for brains. By the times he got hit, especially this game, like there's a couple, like he gets smashed and gets in the next play. I think he ran it in for a touchdown. Like he's really impressive. Like he's not the best arm, whatever, but he makes plays with his feet, with his arm, and he's just nails. And if you're a Georgia fan, that's exciting, right?
Love that.
But they just could not put enough stops together, right? And that's just, you got a kid Chambliss who's playing at Ferris State the last couple of years in middle of nowhere, Michigan. Michigan's trouting out two of the worst quarterbacks in Division I history, and look at a serial coaches jerking off instead of looking at game film, trying to find a better quarterback situation.
The biggest
like, watch
jump,
this. I know this kid's good.
The biggest jump for Ole Miss is the defense. That was a big difference in this game too. They give up the first game. They give up 221 yards rushing. They give up 124 this game. It felt like more watching Nate Frazier just blast them up the middle for 6, 8, 10 yards, 12 yards. He was just gashing them. And for some reason, I've said this before on this show, I'm not a huge Mike Bobo fan. Georgia fans are not huge Mike Bobo fans.
I think Georgia fans are not either. No, they're done with him, I think.
Yeah, they could, and it makes sense because to start that game, they're trying to throw it out the branch. And then throw it out to the outside and do those type of things to get the ball out wide in open field. But that's not Georgia football. Those two drives went nowhere, and then they start handing the ball power run game at Ole Miss, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're just clicking off yards, scoring touchdowns, and clicking off. And then for some reason during the second half, we're not going to do that. No, we're going to throw the ball around. Right. We're going to make Gunnar Stockton a hero tonight, and he got he got his ass kicked. He took that big shot in the first quarter or in the first half. I don't know how he got up. I'd still be in the Silverdome. I'd still be down there. There.
They just have to bury me right where it was.
Right. Just move me to the sideline when the line.
They'd have to peel me off with
If they took more second half. I mean, he's tough, man. He's tough.
Yes, he did. They only went to Delp one time. Like the first few plays of the game, they go to Delp, and they never touch the ball the rest of the game. Like he's a top 5 tight end, and you want to move the ball, you can throw the ball to him at all. So Mike Bobo is. That may be time to kind of think. Kirby thinks about, all right, who are my coordinators next year, because we're gonna have to make some changes. Like you can't just stay with the same thing that's not working. Like 21's not walking. That defense is not walking through that door anymore. It's just over the 22. Pick your defense, right?
And I'll tell you what, you could bring that 21-22 defense from Georgia out there. That kid Chambliss, and we're going to preview the games, but I have to say it right now.
Right.
I just thought of it. I want to, if I had the choice, I want to see that Ole Miss and Chambliss against that Indiana defense. That's the matchup I want to watch.
Sure, absolutely.
That's the matchup. I don't know if I'll pick it, but if you 100%. Say, Chris, you get a matchup, what do you want to watch? I want to watch Chambliss and that offense and how they operate and explosive go against the Indiana defense that does everything and do not let you do any of that. But I watched Ole Miss carve up a good Georgia defense. It's been playing great lately. I think they're getting to 30 against anyone they're playing. if you made me bet it, if they're going against Indiana,
Right.
are they getting to 30? Yep, because Chambliss is getting to 30. Now that may not win it because of the Ole Miss
Right.
defense, but that kid's getting 30. I just don't
Right.
see who's let that stops him. And I got a fun game we'll play here after we're done to rank some of this stuff.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. And obviously we'll again
Preview.
get into this specific matchups, but the other thing to think about is that Ole Miss and Indiana is a way better story to where the college landscape of college football is right
Yep.
now. There's no Ohio State, there's no Michigan, there's no Alabama, there's no Georgia in the semis,
Oh,
and that's different. We're going to see in the Indiana team, who no one would have thought they'd be at number one, let alone a chance for a shot for a title, or an Ole Miss team who we've talked about, they peaked where they're at. Kiffin should move on to LSU because they've peaked where they're at and their ceiling. And they just said, the hell with that. We're going to blow that
Yep.
ceiling up, and it's not. We're going to move that ceiling higher. Now they got to have their hands full with a good Miami team, but
for sure.
you know, we'll get to that. But that's something also people should be happy with. You don't see the usual suspects.
No, I'm here for it.
And there's no Clemson, of course, right? You know, I'm absolutely.
I'm here for it.
Absolutely. Right.
Sign me up for it.
And I think there'll be big ratings too, because, you know, in Indiana, Oregon, all those teams, Miami hasn't had a title in what, 30 years. None of the other teams have any or
One.
none since the World War II. Yeah, one. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Miami 01. So 25 years basically. So it's been a while. Indiana has the largest living alumni base, so there's going to be lots of TVs turned on across the Midwest and
Yep.
certainly in Bloomington. Oregon's, you know, their fans are just chomping the bit. They have nothing other than a Big Ten title last year, but no national titles. And then there's Ole Miss, who's just like, oh, we've been Ole Miss. We're just been a second-rate team in the SEC forever, and now we get a shot to play for a title. This is what we should want. This is where the parity should have been for the last 20 years, 25 years,
Right.
whatever it is. It's finally to that. Now, there are a lot of things that don't make sense, and it's need to be reined in with the NIL and some of this other stuff, but we can say at least the field is starting to level out more so than it ever has. And this is a perfect example of that. And this is not a small sample size anymore after you go last year, you know, Ohio State wins this, but then you had Texas, Arizona State in there and teams like that,
Right.
that have not been historically amazing, you know, certainly in the last 25, 30 years. So
Well, I want to watch those matchups.
this is where we're at. So that's a whole another rant.
I want
Absolutely.
to watch those matchups. I want to watch those teams play each other that you would, Ole Miss and Miami. When would you ever see that game? When would you ever see Ole
No,
Miss
that's
and
not a-
Miami?
that's-
You
no.
know, of course, you know, Indiana, Oregon's already played. That is what it is. But
s-
Ole Miss, Miami,
Right.
that's a banger. And if it wasn't
And-
for
and
this
it-
tournament, they
right.
would never be on the
I'd
same
watch that
field
in a
together.
shitty. I'd watch this matchup if this was like in the Cheez-Its Bowl or some shitty bowl. Like, this is a legit fun matchup anyway, let alone a chance for the title game. So,
And
you had a game for us.
yeah, well, first off, I'll talk about this just a
Yeah.
little bit. Bye round teams 1-7 the first 2 years. So is it official? That's a
Yep.
disadvantage.
That's the sample size of 8. That's 2 years. And as rusty as some of these teams look, like Ohio State, they run into a Miami team that's really good. You know, we bragged about them going back in September.
But
This
a
is the
Miami
Miami
team that
team looked good
played.
in September. They finally came back together. Miami played exactly. They played, the week prior, or 2 weeks prior, I guess. So it does matter. I think it's pretty clear, and I hope that this, in addition to this, how long this season gets spread out with where the title games on late January, that they kind of adjust the schedule. Let's start the season, a week earlier, have one less bye game, get going sooner. I want the title game to be in the Rose Bowl on January 1st or thereabouts, or a
Right.
Saturday after, something like that. So it's closer to that, right? But I don't know if that'll help move the needle, but it certainly is. That number speaks for itself, right? I mean, you got Oregon, who's blown off the field last year, right? And
Yeah.
against Ohio State. And
Georgia loses to Notre Dame.
after Ohio State, Georgia loses to
I-
Notre Dame,
it's-
right? Exactly.
It seems to be that way, and it's the offenses. The defenses seem to be fine. The offenses are
those will
the
travel
one that
fine,
just
yeah.
kind of clanky and everything. And even Indiana, the first drive, Remember the first drive against Alabama? They give up
Oh
2
yeah, it's
sacks,
bad.
go
Yeah, sacked
backwards, and have
twice,
to
didn't
punt.
they? Yeah.
So it was
Mhm.
now they have a Heisman Trophy. They're excellent coach. They're efficient. Lord knows they're efficient. We heard that the whole game. So it took them a little bit to get some
Right. Yes.
traction, but they got their traction much quicker, and they had the luxury of playing an Alabama defense. That's just an okay unit. You know, I wonder,
Right.
and a lot of
Right.
people, we said on this show, would you have been mad had they installed Notre Dame over Alabama based on what happened to Alabama in the SEC championship game? We said we would have been fine with that. So if Notre Dame beats
Fine with
Oklahoma
that.
pretty
Yep.
good, and now it's Notre Dame and Indiana in Rose Bowl against a much more formidable opponent, I wonder how that works out as far as the rustiness, because they got the luxury of
Sure.
Alabama's just not very good, not playing very well. So
All right. No, it's they're fine. They're an okay team. They're not great. They're
yeah,
not elite. Alabama, that is. Like that's what it is. That's just who they are. It showed that game one against a really bad Florida State team, and it trickled down late in the year. They get hammered the last couple games of the year. So
right.
it is what it is. So all
All
right.
right, this game, this was yours as well. We took Georgia, plus we took them to cover the 6.5. And obviously, neither one of those happened. We did take the over, and we beat that son of a bitch by a country mile. So 73 points total. So
Yeah, that was also that was pretty obvious one's going to hit the
at 55.5, yeah, like really?
55.
Okay,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
They blew past that in the first game, and you
Someone's
just
getting fired
decided
in
you're
Vegas for
gonna.
that one. Right.
All right. So do you want to do the game first, or you want to talk about the gambling picks as far as a whole? That's the last two things we have.
Oh, I don't care.
That
What's
I
it?
have.
Okay, you pick whichever one.
We'll do gambling last. Let's do the picks. So I've already made my list.
Okay.
Rank them in order 1 through 4. The remaining defenses in the playoff, and rank them 1 through 4. The offenses in the playoff. Now I already made mine. I'm just
Okay.
interested to see what yours is, and we'll see. I think we probably get pretty close. We might differ a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see. So defenses, the best units left in the playoff. That's Indiana, Miami, Oregon, Ole Miss.
Well, I'd say Ole Miss is the weakest of the four.
I think that's pretty safe.
That's it. We can start
Yeah.
with that. We'd agree with that.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Miami as my top one. It's just because those edge rushers are so active and dominant, and I think that goes a long way. Like Oregon and Indiana have really great defensive lines, but they don't have Bain and the other kid. So I'm going to put Miami 1, Ole Miss 4. I think I'd put Indiana 2, and then Oregon, of course, in the third spot. But I mean,
Gotcha.
you're talking razor thin margins, like 1A or 1 and 2A and 2B kind of thing. Ole Miss is a ways down there, clearly.
Right.
Where did yours line up? But
Almost the same.
Ole Miss
I had
4,
Indiana
but
1. I had Indiana 1
Yeah.
because they've been that
Okay.
unit all year long, whereas Miami dipped in the middle of the year. That's the only reason why I had them
Sure.
behind them. Now you can how they're playing now, defensive end wise. I got no argument with Miami being 1. You don't have to twist my arm that much to make me move them up there. But I had Indiana 1, Miami 2, Oregon 3,
Right.
and then Ole Miss 4. So pretty close. We just switched Miami and Indiana, which is
Sure.
you can
Pretty
make
close,
that
yeah.
argument for
Switch
sure.
first two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could be convinced. I mean, Indiana may be better at all 3 levels than in Miami too. It's just you have those disrupting edges
Makes
that
so much
can
difference.
stop the run and get after. It's just such a difference, right?
Such
I mean,
an advantage.
it's just so different. And, right? I mean, Indiana has probably better interior tackles, but I take the Miami edge rushers over that. And that to me is the slight difference. When
Right.
you have elite defensive tackles, that's going to get you a long ways. But if you have good defense tackles and elite edges, you're in the semis.
Right.
Whereas Indiana's just solid across the board, right?
Right. All right. Offenses.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to flip them. I'm going to have Ole Miss. Let's see. I'm going to have Miami as my 4th team offensively. Ole Miss and Indiana are going to go 1 and 2. Gosh, Indiana's just been more consistent and take care of the ball better. I want to put Indiana 1, Ole Miss 2, Oregon 3, and Miami 4. I just feel like as explosive as Ole Miss is and can be, they've had some hiccups in there, whereas Indiana just doesn't make mistakes like that. And if I had to bet on a team winning or, picking one, I mean, it's pretty close because I don't know the specifics, but I would guess the Ole Miss has more explosives, more 20-plus yard plays
For sure, I
all
would
season
imagine.
compared
Yeah.
to Indiana. But Indiana they just methodically take care of the ball. They'll strangle you to death with the run game, and they'll hit you over the top with the passing game. So, it's a real thin margin. But I
Gotcha.
like them, Indiana, just right at 1.
Well, we just switched them again. I had Ole Miss 1, Indiana 2, Oregon 3,
Okay.
Miami 4. So, but I'll tell you, yep,
Yeah.
I don't have anything wrong with what you're saying. Absolutely. I mean, it's Indiana. It's just Indiana's not built the
Right.
same as Ole Miss. That's why I took Ole Miss because of
No, they're not.
explosives.
No.
They are. If you need to hang 50, give me Chambliss and give me that offense. Indiana
Yes.
never has to hang 50.
Yes.
They're just what's the word?
No.
Efficient. That's the word, right? They may be more efficient and just a
Where'd
solid
you hear that
group.
at? You heard that somewhere.
Right? It kept coming up. But if it's if I need points, give me after watching them on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
What they did to Georgia, and they'd already done it to Georgia once, and that's the thing. It's Kirby Smart, one of the best defensive minds in college football. And that Georgia, and what do we talk about? That Georgia, when it comes to athletic ability and how they are second to nobody. And they've already seen him.
Nobody, absolutely.
And he carved them up again.
Yes, right.
Like, it's not like there was a surprise. Oh, wow, this kid come out of nowhere. No. He's already been on your field and put 35 on you.
You got him on tape.
Yeah, you seen him. You seen him front row center, and he put 35 on you.
Right.
And you got better all year as a defense. You grew up. You're supposed to be better, and you're Kirby Smart. You can scheme, and you can do all these things. And then what did he do in New Orleans? He just went and carved you up again. So that's what gets it for me. That's the difference for me is you do that twice to Georgia. You're the I don't know who I'm taking over you as far as this year in offense. That if you could do that twice, once on their home field and once when everything's on the line, that's who I'm going with, because I've seen Georgia lock down a lot of quarterbacks and lock down and bog down a lot of offenses. And for some reason, they can't. Charlie Watts Jr. and Chambliss, they can't do it for whatever reason.
They got their number.
Yeah,
which makes you wonder what it's going to look like if with Weiss and Kiffin and LSU going forward against they play Georgia. Like, is that going to translate more so even then too? So something to think about next year when we start looking at games.
Right.
Gosh, it's the end of this year, and we're at the semis, and we have some gambling to talk about, and then we'll do a preview in a day or so about the upcoming semis. So, how many millions did we win off our gambling picks?
Well, I didn't bring my calculator, so this number
it's hard to get up there.
May vary a bit. Yeah. So first week we went 9-3. So we started off with $80. Went 9-3, won $20.92 first weekend. 9-3. This week we go 8-4. 8-4. So now the first weekend we made we only had $80 or whatever. So we wound up putting 60 in, $4 a pick. Right. Not much. Just keep in mind, people, Delaney and I, we're doing these picks just for you guys. for all you guys that have way more money to spend. If you followed our lead the first weekend of the playoff and this week in the playoff, you had a combined record of 17-7. That's a 70% winning percentage. So we just bet $60-$80, whatever, just when we get on talk about it, we're putting our money where our mouth is. We make these picks. We got skin in the game. This past weekend we go 8-4. First weekend you went 6-0. This weekend you go 3-3. So first weekend I went 3-3. This week I went 5-1. Yeah. So just we bet all $80 on this weekend at $8 a pick. We come in at the end of the day at $132.28, so we're up $52.26. And
all right,
dang that Georgia, man, if that would have hit, but that's
I know.
gambling. Every gambler can say that same thing.
And,
if and buts.
The Georgia was, we parlayed all the winners. Georgia lets us down. Otherwise, that would have been a decent payday too. I forget what it was.
Yeah, it was like $60. So would have been good.
60, yeah, sure.
So we got $132 in the bank now. So it's going to be, I think it's $23 a pick for the semifinals coming. So we're going to reinvest that money into this weekend, and as we go, the games just get harder. And so I was pretty proud of us this week. I mean, heck yeah, 8-4 weekend.
Absolutely.
Hell, man.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's pretty damn good, right? And the one game that we were pretty sure would go what we thought is the one that went the other direction.
The only losing record we had was the Georgia Ole Miss game. Yeah.
Right.
But we'll tee it up again.
That's gambling for you. Yeah. All right. Well, if we can make some headway, then we'll have some real cash to put down on that the title game. So.
Oh yeah.
All right. What else do we have? Anything else? It's
I'm done.
This is
all I got.
Episode 19.1.
Hour and 5 minutes.
Hour and 5 minutes. We'll be back in a day or so with a preview of the semis, Final Four, whatever you want to call it. Oregon, Indiana, Ole Miss, and Miami. Going to be 2 more good games. It's too bad they're going to be on Thursday and Friday, but let's get to fix that too.
Okay,
Thursday
before
game.
we go,
I know it's NFL. It's NFL's fighting that battle. Like, we got to get over it. Because frankly, like you and I know we kind of were like college football centric, and I know that everyone feels that way. It's about ratings, but like college football's meant for Saturdays. It's Saturdays. This should be at 3:00 Eastern and 7 p.m. Eastern. Those are when those games should be on Saturday. And the hell with the NFL. Like, they're going to do their thing.
Who cares?
Whatever. Just college football centric people. Who cares, right? Like, we're going to, you can flip around. It's okay. Like, meanwhile, it's going to be on Thursday night. Like, that's just not, like, you're watching Nebraska Michigan State basketball game on a Thursday night. Like, that's not, it's the same thing. That's not the same, right? They got to fix this, if nothing else.
You could put up 4 screens on one damn TV, people. Like, you could do that now.
Yes.
Once upon a time, you couldn't do it.
Right.
You know what it reminds me of? The outdated crap that you have to wear white on the road for some reason in college football. You still got to wear away white.
Yes.
What the hell does that? I mean, unless both teams are red, then I get. But there's no reason at all. Yes. Tennessee and Alabama shouldn't wear crimson and orange, and that be some kind of a issue.
Absolutely.
Every game. I don't understand it.
I want to see Michigan, Ohio State in their traditional colors. I don't want to see Ohio State in white. I want to see scarlet.
How badass would that be?
At some point, right? Exactly. It's happened a few times. I think like USC and UCLA have done that a couple of times. We're like, you know what? We're going to wear traditional uniforms. That's perfect. But it's just not. It should be the norm. Like, I don't know which one you pick for Oregon, though. They have 40 different combinations, so I don't know which of their
it's whoever's coming to town.
Routine.
Wherever we're going, we'll just pick a uniform that's opposite of that one, and we're good. Why do we have to do whites?
Yeah. I think it should be the green and yellow. That's just just you're changing clock rules, you're changing out of bounds rules, you're changing replay rules. You're changing TV timeouts.
Right.
You can change who wears.
You went to a playoff.
It's okay. It's fine.
You went to a play.
Yes, you went to a playoff.
You've changed the entire landscape of all of college football, but yet you can't go. You know what? Both teams can wear their homes unless it's the same home color. Go ahead, guys. Why are we still doing whiteaways? I don't understand it.
You can pay 18-year-old freshman Bryce Underwood $12 million, but don't you dare wear navy on the road. Don't you dare.
We don't want to see that maize and blue in Ohio Stadium at the end of the year.
That's crazy.
That's bananas.
Kooky talk. Although Michigan, it's just Michigan and Texas played. Michigan should have been wearing their maize and blue jerseys.
Yeah,
because Texas had their classic burnt orange. It was a beautiful matchup, uniform game.
Where's the confusion?
And I like Michigan's road games uniforms, but that's exactly. Although I would argue you could say if someone's colorblind, the orange and and red might be problematic, but generally speaking, you're probably fine.
Right.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. There's always
How many kids
the
are colorblind
fringe.
and how many quarterbacks are colorblind?
Well, now, from what I understand, this is made this way because of black and white television back in the day. Is the reason it all even happened anyway.
Sure, absolutely.
And then whenever all that happened, black and white television today, you can instead tell them apart. If Alabama's in crimson, Tennessee's in orange on a black and white TV, that's the same damn uniforms. Except one's got a number on the helmet, one's got a T.
Yes.
You can't tell the difference. So that's why they did it.
Right.
But find me one house in America, anywhere. I don't give a shit if it's Alaska. I don't care where it's at. They're sitting around on Saturday watching black and white TVs, watching college football. Show me one.
It's not
just
happening.
One.
They don't exist. They exist in museums.
Yeah.
And that's it.
In pawn shops.
Even if you have remember that TV that Cleta gave you? That TV, even that TV that you got.
It wasn't even
15,
black and white.
16 years ago. That was color.
You can't even buy cassette tapes anymore, Delaney. You can't even go to the store. You can't run down to Walmart to buy CDs anymore. Hey, you're telling me that college football can't start doing home uniforms both times?
Right.
Really, that's what you're saying.
If you like to wear your whites and it's fun, go for it. But generally speaking, it should be wear whatever the hell you want, coordinate it. You're not both wearing the same color, fine.
Right.
But none of this bullshit of you gotta wear lights or whites or whatever, because it's it just leads to all these awful combinations like Oregon has, for example, frankly. Yeah. There's a lot of what are you wearing silver and white? That's not, where's the green at? Where's the yellow at? You don't have any colors at all. I don't get it. It's when it just makes no sense.
We had black and white TVs. We put a man on the moon. We went from vinyl to 8-tracks to cassette tapes to CDs to streaming. Back to vinyl, by the way. You can buy vinyl still now. You can buy vinyl again in Walmart.
Right, yes, absolutely.
Right? We went full circle on that.
Yeah.
We got Starlink up in the sky floating around where you can use satellite phones from Point Nemo on planet Earth and get phone and go and call your mom.
Right. Yes.
But we can't
right, exactly.
But we can't wear home uniforms in stadiums. Can't do that. That's where we draw the line. We're not equipped.
CBS has a dual camera setup on the field for sideline report, stuff like that. It's an 8K camera, and it looks so good. It looks like a cartoon almost. But don't you dare wear dark color.
Come into those home uniforms. You better not.
All right, folks. Well, this is Hell If We Know podcast. We've said it all here. This is your wrap up for the college football second round. Watch some good games. We have some more previews come up. The games come up, the semis that start on Thursday. But we'll have that show pretty soon. So enjoy this one. Thank you for watching. Share the show if you wish. If not, whatever. We're just doing this for fun, and we'll hopefully make you a couple dollars. Nothing else, right?
If you followed along this past 2 weeks,
thanks again for watching.
Money.
That's Chris. You would have been. Listen to Chris. Listen to Brian. Hell If We Know podcast. Mark it down. Put it in your favorites. Put it in your queue to watch the next. After you're watching reruns of Seinfeld, whatever you're watching, watch us for some great commentary, post game, and previews. That's it for us. We will see you in a couple days. Thanks.